Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and fight fans around the world. It's your boy P. Welsh here with another UFC picks, previews, and predictions. Coming off an 8-4 week last week, and we got the big event UFC 306 at the Sphere Noche. 10 fights on the card, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be bringing them to you right now. Starting us off in the men's bantamweight division, we got Raul Rosas Jr. 9-1 coming against Oriki Lang 25-10 coming off a no contest, and this one will be a no contest. I think Raul Rosas rolls this guy. I think he subs him. I think Oriki Lang takes a lot of damage, has been subbed before, is nothing special in the promotion, and I mean, this is the golden boy Raul Rosas. There's not really much to say here. I'll probably try and talk a little bit longer than the fight might last in a way, but I think Raul, this guy Lang, he can take punches and get taken down. He took a lot of damage in his last fight against Daniel Marcos, and there was like an exchange of groin kicks that after he was beat up so bad, the adrenaline wore off. He just couldn't continue. He was losing that fight big time, and there's no surprise that Raul Rosas is minus 850 on the card. I would try and take him by submission. Might be a little bit second rounder. I think that's what he finished Turcios in, was the second round. But, we're come a long way from the Christian Rodriguez fight. I'm not saying his opponents have been too good for Rosas, Terrence Mitchell and Ricky Turcios. But the last one was a big win for him, and I expect another big one this weekend, another sub, and just keep the Rojas Jr. train rolling. Oriki Lang, 3-3 in the promotion with a no contest. Last one was a no contest. A lot of decision losses, decision wins, and sub losses on his record. It's been a while, but somebody like Cody Durden, who just got a finish last week against Matt Schell, I expect Raul Rosas to handle him as Durden did. Move on, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! Into the flyweight division here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, nice. Way to go, UFC. The website working here. We got Edgar Chireiza versus Joshua Van. How do I say Edgar's last name? Chireiza. I don't know. Versus Joshua Van. Van coming off a KO loss to Charles Johnson in the third round. He was looking pretty good there. Probably winning on the judges' scorecard, but Johnson was like, we don't need the judges here. Versus Edgar Chireiza. Dude, I'm butchering his name right now. But I can't believe Edgar's going off at such a big underdog at plus 180. The UFC has the odds backwards. Van is a very strong flyweight fighter, but I don't understand the minus 216, where it sits him. I like Edgar here, man. I think he has a good chance to get him on the ground to do. I think Van wants to stand and fight, throw scraps, and I think Edgar is going to have a good chance. I mean, the thing with Edgar is I might be a little bit biased here because his last fight was against the same dude. It was an early stoppage and then a reschedule. They canceled it and then they rescheduled it too. Ended up working Lacerda, and I think something like that happens against Van today. Van, a very good prospect, but I don't know, man. Something happens when these guys. I'm just a little worried about Van here, especially as a big favorite. I really like Chireiza. Dude, I'm butchering Edgar's name, but he's going to get the finish. Trust me. He's going to get the finish. Van, I mean, my thing is, are we just going to watch Van stand from the outside and strike for 3 rounds? Like, is that the win condition? This guy, the Mexicans tonight are going to want to put on a show. They're not going to want to stand there scrapping until the freaking bell. These guys are going to want to fight. I got Edgar over Van in the second bout. Moving on here. If I could say his name, I would probably be talking a little bit longer about that fight. Van's got a lot of rescheduled bouts. He beat Borjas, Burns, but that loss to Johnson, I actually had that right. I thought Johnson was holding his own, and then the finish in the third round was really nice. And with Edgar, there's just a bunch of rescheduled fights. Same, my biggest thing is, I will say, Edgar he's lacking that big win that this fight presents to him. Nothing too outstanding in the promotion, nothing too outstanding in his career so far. So this could be a highlight moment for him. And that's where I'm kind of leaning on. I'm just going to wrap that one up here. Let's move on to the women's strawweight division. Yasmin Ugargi versus Kathleen Suso, 11-1, coming off a win versus 14-4, coming off a loss. And this is going to be a very close fight. I think this one goes to the judges' scorecard here. I think Sousa has a chance to maybe sneak in a cheeky finish. But I think Yasmin's going to be very controlled. She's going to stand on the outside and strike. I think, I really do think that's her game. Now, while her loss is to Denise Gomes in 20 seconds, as a big favorite, I think something like that could happen again today. And I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens here. I think she a little bit struggled with Sam Hughes. I think Sam turned it on in the third round of that fight. But that wasn't a high confidence pick. I'm very tempted here to go with Caitlin Sousa. My reads on the women division have been quite off recently. So that's why I'm a little hesitant just picking the big underdog here. But the Mexicans aren't going to go undefeated on the card, and this could be one that is ripe for an upset in a way. I think some of the other fights are not as close as the books say, and this fight is way closer than the books say. Yasmin just throws a lot of strikes. She's 3-1 in the promotion with that one knockout. She has some nice performances. Both these girls are going to throw hands. I think they kind of gas out and go to the card at the other end. And what are we going to say about that? I mean, we're going to go see what the decision says. I think Yasmin's experience in the promotion versus Sousa, it might be a big advantage for me at least. That being said, I'm just going to pick Yasmin here. Keep it clean, even though I'm kind of live on Sousa for a big upset here. Maybe coming in with a little extra power, but that's just something that it's going to be hard for me to just predict on the fly here. Very similar reach. The metrics very similar. I kind of like Sousa here if I'm a gambling man, but we're just going to do Huargi to win at 11-1, go to 12-2. This is a tough pick for me. I mean, I think this one's going to the judges' scorecard. But I mean, that being said, like, you can probably see some Sousa KO potential in there if she does a lot of damage, gets her in a good position. We could see something spicy coming out of here. I think these girls will throw hands. It won't be as like, oh, we're just gonna go to the fight. I think we'll be back and forth, and we're gonna say into the third round, and it's all to fight for. Let me get the little juice with Huargi right there. Ooh, what a fight here. Let's move on to ladies and gentlemen, to the men's lightweight division. Manuel Torres at 15-2, standing 5'10" against my guy Ignacio Bahamondes, 15-5, standing 6'3", a little bit of a reach advantage. And man, this is a styles make fight situation here. We got Torres, big, powerful puncher, and Bahamondes with the length, the speed, the reach on the outside. And I will say this, I feel like the one big thing, I don't know how much this matters in the fight game, but Torres has a very short fight clock. He's usually 3 minutes and under, what his average is, which makes me think he's not fighting the most star-studded opponents, which let's just, take a look at, who he's knocked out here. Duncan, Murata, Chiamba, like nothing too crazy in terms of competition. Now, he has looked good, a lot of first-round finishes, and this is going to be his toughest test so far. Bahamondes is ripe to pick off the bad fighters with KOs and take the good fighters to the distance. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's going to stand on the outside, and if you make too many mistakes, if you gas out, it's going to be trouble. I think this fight is probably going to end up in a split decision. I think you're going to see the significant strikes of Torres versus the control speed combos of Bahamondes. He's really going to use the leg kicks. I feel like the last few weeks we haven't seen a super heavy leg kick game from some of these guys, and I think this is one where we see it. Bahamondes is very calculated in the octagon. He's got a lot of potential, a lot of experience in the promotion in terms of in the octagon as well. And I think when Torres struggles to finish him in the first and second round, it's what do you have in the memory tank? What do you have in the reps that are gonna get you to the winner's circle, right? I think Bahamondes ekes it out here. Very close on the record. I mean, very close on the odds, I believe, as well. Basically a pick'em. Slight underdog for Bahamondes, but I think that just screams to Torres' power and his potential, and it's one of those things where if he gets inside and can land that, sweeping right overhand, I just don't think Bahamondes lets him get that close. I think he plays a very strategic, safe fight, and I really like Bahamondes to win by points here. But Torres is one of my favorite fighters. I wish he didn't have to really fight. He kind of reminds me of Steve Garcia from last week. And with that being said, I feel like if we're going to look at them similarly, we have to look at their opponents. And Kyle Nelson is no Bahamondes. Now, Kyle Nelson's a great fighter, never been finished. But Ignacio is he's technical, man. He's really skillful. He's got a lot of tools in the bag, and he's willing to throw anything. I mean, the guy's got spectacular wheel kick, head kick, KO. So, yeah, I don't expect to see anything crazy like that because those were slightly, smaller guys. But we'll see what happens, man. This is going to be one of my favorite fights on the card. I can't wait to go watch it. Torres, Bahamondes. But give me Bahamondes here. I got to make an official pick. I just can't really lean on Torres, expecting him to go 3 rounds and maybe go to the decision against somebody like Bahamondes. I just love saying his name, too. So, I actually know this guy's name. I'm going to get it right. But Torres, definitely live for a KO. Definitely live for a performance of the night. And then this is going to be one of the reasons that we tune on are these fights. I think these 2 fights are very close back-to-back with the next one we're going to be bringing up and could go either way. I'm hoping to have I'm hoping this is where we make our juice this week. Bahamondes, and then we're going to get into the women's prelim main event. Irene Aldana, 15-7 versus Norma Dumont, 11-2, standing at 5'7", and I'm trying to find a way to get on the Dumont train here and figure out how we can pick her to win in such a close fight, and I struggle a lot. Jermaine Demiradi, her last fight, it was unanimous, but it was a much closer fight than somebody should have taken her to. And, unanimous win. If you're going to go to this judge's scorecard against somebody like Aldana, you're going to be in a world of hurt. She's long. She throws volume. I'll say she looked terrible against Nunez, but everybody does. And then she rebounded and beat the snot out of Carol Rosa. And I expect something like that to happen again. I think Aldana is one of the most skillful women's fighters in the division. I think she has a lot of volume, a lot of technique, a lot of will, a lot of just very exemplary of the fighters. And this is one where I like her length at 5'9". I think she has a great technical ability. I think she might have been a little starstruck in that Nunez fight, but I'm picking Aldana here all day. I don't even think it's going to be – she could finish. I don't think that's going to be her game plan because somebody like Dumont's a very strong fighter. Like, she's not going to get picked off and pieced, and the power to generate to knock somebody like her out, I just don't know if it's there from Aldana. But what is there is the volume, is the technique, is the accuracy, is everything in between. I think coming off in the Sphere, I think she puts on a world-class performance and wants to put herself right back up. There's a bantamweight title fight here soon enough. Pennington versus Pena, right? It's Pennington Pena here soon enough. And I think she's right. She's got, with a win here, she's got dibs on the winner. Absolutely. No doubt about it. My win. If Irene Aldana wins here, she gets an absolute. Well, let's go to Mexico next year, early next year, and sign her up for a main event or something, co-main event with somebody big. Let's do it. Pantoja needs a card too. Even though I expect him to fight by the end of the year. I expect him to fight in December, but I think Aldana's got this. I can't, a little bit longer in the tooth at 36, but I kind of also feel like when you get into those rounds as the females against 33-year-old Dumont, It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be an exchange, and I mean, there's no way I'm picking against Aldana here. Home crowd advantage, whatever that means. I just think she'll end up getting the decision, even if it's split. If Dumont looks good, I think Aldana does enough to get the job done. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the main card. Let's start in the men's flyweight division. Ronaldo Rodriguez, 17-2 against Ode Osborne, 12-7 and no contest. And in my opinion, the flyweight division is the Mexican division. I got Rodriguez here. That being said, Osborne is alive to get the win, but he just has a lot of susceptibilities in his game, and he hasn't been on a great run recently. A couple finishes against some really good guys, Almabaya, Filio. Like, he's not like he's fighting nobodies. But I think this is one where Ronaldo Rodriguez can actually maybe even sneak one of those submissions in on him. His one win in the UFC is by rear naked choke at the very end against Bonder. I'm trying to remember that fight. At the end of the round. And I think we can see something like that. I think Osborne has to keep it on the feet, and I think at this weight class, these guys are so explosive, so fast. 4 and 5 in the promotion. I'm just not about it. I'm picking Rodriguez here. I think he's got a great chance to pick up another win for the night on Team Mexico, minus 135. I do have, like I said, I don't think they run the board, all the Mexicans. I think, like I said, I got Torres losing. I think Edgar could possibly take an L too, but I'm not predicting that. But here I got Ronaldo Rodriguez. I just want to find a way to pick Osborne, and maybe it's the reach advantage, maybe it's the length. Man, oh man, I feel like I'm stretching to try and pick Osborne here. I think I picked against him in those other fights as well, and it's been going well. And you know what I actually think? I think I picked him in that fight. No, I think I did pick him when he beat Charles Johnson. I wasn't doing picks then. But I just noticed him. And I noticed that he doesn't always bring his A game. Now, he's got a lot of advantages, but I expect Rodriguez to get into a good, favorable submission position and finish the job. Get a nice victory for the flyweights. Team Mexico. Let's go, baby. We got Rodriguez over Osborne. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Zellhuber, 15-1, coming off a win versus Esteban Rabovich, 13-1, coming off a win. And boy, oh boy, this one should be a pretty spectacular fight, man. I'm starting off picking Zellhuber here just because I think he's a low-key fighting nerd. He's not maybe part of the fighting nerds, but he kind of always reminds me of one. Huge reach advantage, a little bit of a length advantage. And I think the next thing, it comes down to, again, one thing that I always like to look at when making these picks is experience in the octagon, man. 3-1 on the promotion, only losses to Trey Ogden in his debut off the Contender Series. Coming off, now, both being said, I think Zellhuber this is going to be one of his more challenging tests. But same with Rabovich. I don't think he's really fought anybody super impressive. The one guy he fought, Razabov, took the L. I mean, he head kicked McKinney in 37 seconds, but that's not really too much to go in on. Like, I think Zellhuber is the talent that we all thought McKinney had. And I think we got Zellhuber here. Now, does he get a finish? I don't think so. Is he possibly live for a submission? It'd be really hard to predict that. I mean, Rabovich has a lot of tools in the bag, man. He doesn't get finished either. I think this one's going to the judges' scorecard. It can go either way. But I'm going to take Zellhuber here. I mean, I think he's a really talented guy in this lightweight division. And I think he really wants to get himself a moment in there. He's been on... He was in the... He fought on the Independence Day card, I believe, as well. Recently is when I think he finished Gigios on that Anaconda choke about last year, right? So, yeah, he was on the card last year. That's, I think, something that's very prideful for the fighters. And I expect them to... If they were on the card last year and they won, and they're on the card again this year, I'm pretty much picking him to win. Because I think Uarguez was... Nope, not on the card. But let's go Zellhuber here. Keep it short and sweet, baby. Oh, baby. Brian Big City Ortega versus Diego Lopes. 16-3 versus 25-6. Both coming off a win. 3-inch height advantage and a little bit of a reach advantage for Lopes here against Ortega. And man, oh man, what's going to happen in this fight, dude? Like, we don't know much about Ortega, except that the cut could be pretty brutal to the weight class. He was talking about moving up to lightweight, missed weight, couldn't fight this fight in May, and now is coming back for the same fight on Noche. I really think Dana loves Lopes here and wants to give him another opportunity to put him in the consideration for a title fight, and I got Lopes here all day. Now, I think it probably goes to the scorecard. I don't think he'll be able to finish Ortega. What is Ortega? Gets finished by doctor stoppage or an injury, right? The impressive win, 3rd round against Yair was devastating to me. I was expecting big things from Yair. I thought his length would be able, and he'd be able to defend well enough, but clearly I wasn't thinking of Yair against somebody like Volkanovski, who got taken down and just put in the woodshed in 3 seconds, and Ortega basically did the same thing. Ortega and Lopes, I feel like, have very similar grappling skills. I'm a big Lopes fan. He's he's the one that started the death squad for me, picking up these young prospects that are just finishing and lighting up the world on fire. He's my captain, Lopes, and we're riding the captain here now. I think he's got incredible hands, right? He can do a lot of damage. He can grapple. I think if you're going to try and get a submission on him, he's going to try and get the submission right back at you, man. I think he has a triangle finish and arm bar. My man's a monster, dude. Him and Cheppy, 2 of my favorite featherweights. I got Lopes here. I think he's got advantage in the cut. I think he's got advantage on the feet. I think it's a wash if it gets to the ground. But at that point, if it gets to the ground, I think that means he wants it to go there in a way. And is Ortega going to be able to? I don't think he can keep him down. I think Lopes is really big and strong and powerful. Like, when he cuts down almost 6 foot at 145 with good length and reach, this guy Lopes, I ain't leaving the train now. I've been picking this guy since he came in, right? I got Lopes here, and this is no disrespect to T-City. He'll probably prove me wrong again and put the L on my record like he did last time against Yair. But I think we go to the judge's decision. I think, man, dude, T-City just don't lose, though, man. T-City just don't lose. But I think that's how good this guy Lopes is to pick him. That's how confident I am, too. Let's do it, baby. Lopes. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. Grasso versus Shevchenko. Women flyweight title bout. 16-3-1 versus 23-4-1, coming off a draw here, ladies and gentlemen. And I just got to say the draw is a joke. 10-8, round 5 for Grasso. That is, that's the only reason she's holding the belt right now. It's the only reason we're seeing this fight. What's the bullet got, man? Is she hungry? The TV show scares me picking this fight. They're doing the tough competition. They're whatever. I got to pick Shevchenko here. I just think she got robbed. And we were probably right last time. I honestly think this was the last draw we had. We haven't had a draw all year. Was Shevchenko and Grasso. I think it was at the end of last year. Yeah, it's been almost a whole calendar year since we've had a draw in the UFC, which is crazy. I believe it was these ladies. And I don't know, man. So there's the Grasso aspect. She's big, tough, powerful. I think it's something Shevchenko has never had to deal with, right? And while I pick Shevchenko, I think she'll be able to overcome that in terms of her ability. But it's not a year and a half ago when she lost. She's 36 right now and Grasso's 31. Does that matter that much? That's, I think, the biggest, I think that's one of the determining factors we're going to see from this fight is what is the championship pedigree of somebody that was winning, then lost it and has to reclaim it as somebody that's older. In the men's division, we clearly know the older 35 curse. It doesn't work for these young guys. Is that what's going to happen here? I just think Grasso is so big and massive. And I think she throws hammers, dude. Her hands, she just looks very powerful for the women's flyweight division. Shevchenko's got everything. She's got it. But man, I think I bet I think I want to pick Shevchenko, man. She's my girl, dude. I love Grasso though, but am I picking because of the previous results? I think so. I think so. Because if I was to pick Grasso, it would be to move forward and move on with the division. And is that where the women's division is going to be moving? I'm very the both fights were so and like fights need to be won, correct? Like that's why I think Grasso has a great chance to win because fights have to be won. And what's Shevchenko's win condition? Something like Izzy against Duplessis, right? Outstrike them, outpoint them, win in 5 rounds, right? I don't think Shevchenko is finishing Grasso, not with punches. I think Grasso is very tough and powerful. Oh, man. I might have to do the old flipperoo reverse here and take Grasso. I can't really determine. This one's going back and forth on me, folks. And ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to do here? This one is... I'm just going to stick with my initial gut of Shevchenko. Probably just bet Grasso in a way. Even though I should do the reverse psychology, pick Grasso and then bet Shevchenko because she's going off at a pretty big dog here. That's another thing that scares me is the judges. Are they going to the judges going to let Grasso lose? Is it going to be as close as it was last time? I don't think so. I'm trying to even think that it took until a powerful last round and... Man, this is what makes these title fights so big and impactful. It's like one momentum change, as soon as the tide turns, the fight is changed completely. And does Grasso do that again, where she actually dominates the 5th round, but you're like, Shevchenko did enough the first 3 rounds. She started fast. And that's where I think Shevchenko actually gets the win here, is I think she starts off very fast, and if she's up 3-0 and it forces Grasso to have to finish and she doesn't take any chances, it'd just be a very frustrating night for Grasso fans. Official pick Shevchenko for that reason. I think she starts fast. I think if it wasn't for... I mean, we might even be running this fight back if it was a Shevchenko win anyway, because we would have had 1-1. And I think this is a very good fight for them. My biggest thing is I'm worried about Shevchenko's age against somebody like Grasso. I think that's where Grasso has a big advantage here, is that, and she'll be basically at home. The crowd will be on her side, but something about the bullet, man. I gotta ride one more time with the bullet. Last one in the chamber. Let's see if she can get another one done. Let's go Shevchenko here in the co-main event to reclaim her belt, and I don't know if I'm not confident right now. As I'm picking Shevchenko, I'm thinking Grasso's gonna win. Because I just don't see what happens after this, but I can see Grasso going on for a minute. But let's go official pick Shevchenko. Let's ride the bullet one more time. And then we're moving into the men's main event. The Sugar Show. Sean O'Malley, 18-1. Avenged loss against Cheeto versus Merab Dvalishvili, 17-4. On an absolute tear, 10-fight win streak. And this is the tale of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. The style matchup of it all. O'Malley versus Dvalishvili, and 5'11", standing 5'6", 4-inch on the reach advantage, 2-inch on the lead. And I mean, we got striker versus wrestler, no doubt about it. And 10-fight winning streak for Merab, crazy. I got O'Malley here. I think O'Malley is so freaking good, dude. When you talk about what it means to be a champion, I think he's learning to embody all of it, right? Overcome the adversity, put it behind him, and focus on the task at hand. I think he's locked in. I think O'Malley, I think he finishes Merab. I think we watching Merab get knocked out, and my thing is, when O'Malley defends the takedowns, what's Merab going to do? He's going to try and throw hands with O'Malley and stand there? Like, I think the X factor of this fight is, at any point, can Merab get O'Malley down and continue to take him down, right? If he gets him down early, is he able to get him down late? If he can't get him down early, does he get him down later, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit of wear and tear on these wrestlers to get to the strikers, get that timing mixed up. I just unfortunately, I'm not going to trust the Longo Serra gym in terms of putting in technical advice to beat O'Malley, probably the most technical fighter that we have on the roster in terms of top to bottom. I think this is O'Malley. I think he wins by KO, and I think he does whatever the hell he wants. And I think he's going to be a little confused, but I think he's going to have a big moment because he's going to want to call out Topuria. He's going to want to call out Holloway. He's going to want to call out Umar. He's going to want to call out everybody. He goes, you guys come call me out. You know, who wants me next in a way? Let him pick his fight after this. I think he puts a milestone moment potentially on his career on the bantamweight championship forever, and maybe a rematch with Piotr Jan. Figueiredo, I don't know about. I want Merab to win. I'm like really rooting for him, but as a fan, I'm always going to pick O'Malley, and I'm a fan of O'Malley too. I'm not going to try and say I don't like O'Malley. I'm excited for what he's done. The ability for him to put himself in the position and execute and dominate in the octagon is, you know, I don't think it stops here. I don't think the train stops here. I think he walks through Dvalishvili. Maybe the next one gives him a tough time. If it's Umar next, if it's Figgy, if it's Jan rematch, I think then he might be not as in a good position because we clearly know that Merab can't strike with O'Malley, right? O'Malley can handle the wrestling to some level, right? To some level, O'Malley can handle getting taken down. The Piotr Jan, he can deal with getting up. How does that look in the fight? That's the X factor. I think O'Malley will be able to get up eventually. I think his length is going to be a problem for Merab. He's going to have to overextend to commit to taking somebody that big down. And when he does, O'Malley is going to be able to shoot. He's so fast. He's so quick. And I really want to see how this is going to go, right? Like, if you know Merab can take him down in the third round, you're going to pick Merab all day to win, right? But maybe he gets a couple takedowns early. Maybe he stuffs him, strikes him. But to stand in there and beat O'Malley at a striking match, it's just not going to happen, man. O'Malley all day, dude. I already bet on O'Malley. Like, I think, I don't know, man. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I've been around the Merab train for a while, and now that his stop is up, it might just stop. I don't know what's going on the last, like, year or so in the UFC. I feel like some of these mental games have... These guys are just not focused on killing, right? Like, I feel like sometimes, I don't know if it's the personality of just it being a personal thing and not like a team sport, but you got to just have like your opponent in the crosshairs and just go dominate. And I think O'Malley does, and I think Merab isn't as clearly focused in a way. And this one's going to be a banger. What do I know? We don't know what's going to happen until the fights start, but I expect Merab to stand there for about the first half of the first round. Going to get punched a couple times, try and take down O'Malley. He's going to lose the first round and try and press, and I think O'Malley's going to have him from the start. I think O'Malley finishes him late, if anything. I don't know, honestly. But this one should be a banger. All I know is I'm picking O'Malley, and I think he's going to get the job done. Do a little recap here. We like Raul Rosas. Get a subby in there. Edgar Chareza against Van. Uargi over Sousa, but could be a back-and-forth fight. I got Baja Mondays over Torres, but Torres got the big power. Aldana over Dumont. Aldana all day. We got Rodriguez over Osborne. Zellhuber over Rabovich. Lopes over Ortega. Shevchenko over Grasso. And O'Malley to retain the belt. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It's always a pleasure bringing them to him. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and take care, everybody. Peace and love.